Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It's Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Wednesday, September 27th, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action, the cryptocurrency market, the stock market, the altcoin market, Bitcoin, XRP, dominances, gold, silver, the dollar, everything as we get our day kicked off and roaring in this wild stock market that we're having. Meanwhile, green action over here in crypto. So green day over here in the cryptocurrency market after a wild week over here in the stock market so far. You'd be hard pressed to know that the cryptocurrency market is actually green for the week. It was actually green before all this action really started firing up today. But we've actually been okay here in crypto while the stock market's been kind of a whirlwind, and you got that dollar really starting to shuffle its way up over there. So either way, on Wednesdays, everybody, we still always try to have a good time, regardless of what sentiment is out there. So I hope that you guys are all doing well. Happy midpoint of the week.
It is Wednesday, my dude. It is Wednesday, dudes.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy halfway point of the week. We have made it. So we'll talk. So here's what's going on with me. I've been having like electricity issues. I've been having internet issues. I have been having cell phone reception issues for the last couple of days. And that has hampered my ability to do a whole lot. Kind of happens shortly after Markets in the Morning has been over. So I haven't been able to get videos out. So this morning I just skipped my workouts. And at 4:30 in the morning, I was on my computer recording. And so I have recorded a 32-minute video that is exporting currently right now. We will hear a loud ding. It will scare the daylights out of you when it eventually happens. Probably be about 30 minutes from now when that ends up happening. That's just my video being completed. I'm going to upload it before any type of issues can emerge once again. That video, of course, will be talking a lot about the stock market, the DXY, all that good stuff going on out there. So we'll dive into all that here in Markets in the Morning, and we'll just kind of take it step by step. And we'll start out first with just going through the cryptocurrency market really quick. Bitcoin is sitting at 26,739. So yesterday we actually talked about the price action of Bitcoin. You can go watch Markets in the Morning. I actually drew a line here. I said, I expect this to shoot straight back up. Now we kind of have a decision that has to be made in here because our price action is very similar to what's happening here in bottoms. And that's if we're going to pause out here and we have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one more time, or if this thing can get shooting its way up. So I don't actually cover this in the video, so we will cover this here in Markets in the Morning. Essentially, the thing to kind of keep an eye on in here is expecting some ranging, and then if we can shift up once more. If we could shift up once more after ranging here for some time, I would tend to believe that this move is actually completed in here. But I think that the thing I'm really watching for is if we do pull back. If we pull back in here, I think that actually does set us up that it's more like this. So this is what we talked about yesterday, right? If this up, and then it can move. Otherwise, this down, down, down. Then that's it. Then go. But the good news is it definitely followed along with what we talked about Markets in the Morning yesterday. If we were looking for a quick shift back up, we have gotten that. Now it's just about waiting for the next move to happen here for Bitcoin. As for Bitcoin, as for the cryptocurrency market, again, it's been behaving very well during all this chaos in the stock market and this 106.5 happening over here on the DXY, or the US dollar currency index. So we're not seeing Bitcoin or crypto really have any type of too huge struggles. Do I have the DXY, BLX open here? I do, right there. So as we know, when it comes to Bitcoin, if it's going to behave in its little majestic Fourier cycles or block reward halving things, it really just has to continue maintaining the range lows that it's at. So far, it certainly has, and price action seems to be holding itself up really well at this point. So there's still, at this point, not a lot to say about Bitcoin's current price behavior, except it's still just acting similar to how it acts in the past. So all good things are still there for Bitcoin. Crypto, the altcoin market, looking fine. You got Bitcoin Cash up almost 10%. You got Chainlink up 5% this morning. Market's doing relatively well over here for crypto. So no huge changes to observe over here in the altcoin market or in Bitcoin. Again, like I don't know how many times we could say it. It's really just breaking the lows. If we break the lows and we take out support levels, this is at this point, how long is this? A year and a half long support and resistance level. If we went and took that down, that's where there would be serious problems. Otherwise, we're on day 195 or something of this range going on. So there's nothing too crazy to say in here when it comes to this. The obvious thing is what's going on over there in the stock market and the chaos that's happening over there. So we'll take a look over here at these things. So yesterday, let's take a look. So yesterday, I had to go drive my car away from my house and sit in a parking lot on my cell phone to watch the stock market happening yesterday. So what we did end up getting is, this is where the confusing happens. This is where we're going to talk about it in a 32-minute video today. We do have the Dow Jones Industrial Average that does go and set a slightly new low. However, over here on the YM1, it does not quite set it yet. Maybe we'll end up getting it today, but we don't actually quite have it just yet. And then the big debate, of course, is whether or not that was the end of our retrace. That's the pop of the United States stock market bubble, right? There's the end of your retrace. That's the pop of it. And down and away it goes. Or are we going to see what we typically do see happen for the stock market, where we see like the pre-recessionary, pre-depressionary even little pump that ends up happening in here? I referenced this in the video that I put out today. Michael Berry, one of the most famous people to short the United States stock market or short the housing market back during the great financial crisis, recognized all the recessionary indicators showing up way ahead of time. Michael Berry shorted the market in here, which is very similar to kind of where we're at right now. It's back in retrace levels. It's where Michael Berry opened a short. If you've ever watched The Big Short, he was under so much distress because all of his investors were mad at him. He was like, I'm not wrong. My timing is just wrong. And then, the investor screams at him, that's the exact same thing. If your timing is wrong, you're wrong. And so he had to go through years of the market ripping to the upside until things finally did end up falling apart. So it's kind of like what we're seeing right now, right? You got everybody screaming for recession and all that stuff. And have we gotten the signals happening here just yet? Hard to tell, but we'll put that in. That's put into a very long video today. I, of course, have stated for years now, like, I don't think the next one is just a recession. I think the next one is the big one. And that just comes from being a chartist, right? You guys, we've looked at this Great Depression fractal. We've looked at the structure, the broadening wedge leading up to it, the 4.236 extension. But there's way more to it as well, why that would eventually be. And then the question is, do we do what we've done in each recession, right? And so that's not to spook you and say, hey, Great Depression is starting right now. Maybe it is. But what you look at in each recession that we've previously had, there's some type of pre-recession pump that takes out all the shorts first. We had it back in the great financial crisis. We had it during C19. And as crazy it is, we even had it there during the actual Great Depression, where it did end with a big short liquidation, right? It ends with one final parabola, and then everything actually falls apart. Of course, we're all familiar with the Wall Street cheat sheet. We've all talked about retraces many times. We looked for retraces the entire time during 2022 while everybody was overlaying the great financial crisis doomtown fractal on top of this right here. We're saying, it's going to go back to retraces, and we'll see what happens there when we get back to retraces. But that's kind of the concern now, right? It's like, all right, we're in the retraces. Are we going to only have a retrace happen in here? Or are we going to see our typical pre-recession or even pre-depression pump before it all just liquidates itself and goes crumbling on down? Either way, it's sketchy out there for the stock market, certainly today. And And then you got the DXY. DXY at 106.5. So why does 106 have even any kind of meaning? We'll talk again about this in today's video. There's not actually a technical level here for this. There's no Fibonacci retracement level that sits right here. There's no moving averages that sit right here to scream that this is a particular place where everything has broken out and it's gone absolutely insane. It's actually just when we look back to like the bubble pop from the 2000s, that the United States stock market or the NASDAQ.com bubble did pop upon the clear breakage of 106. And then we even saw a lot of chaos happen in our own stock market here back in 2022. If you remember, in July, August, September, a lot of chaos happening over here in the United States stock market upon the big clearing of 106. And then as it broke back down, this is where the stock market started rallying back up. Of course, we were all real frustrated here because what happened here at this point, FTX happens, right? You got the stock market rallying, you got the dollar breaking down all at the same time. We were glorified with the FTX saga to end up happening in here. But as we get this does provide some concern over there for the United States stock market to see that actually emerging at this time right now. However, when it comes to crypto and those types of things, of course, we pretty much have our hardened rules in here of how crypto has performed in regards to recoveries. We know we've kind of already gone through the massive drawdowns already over here in the crypto market, and they just haven't experienced that yet over there in the stock market as of yet. So, we have pretty clear rules. And I think, the thing that I've always talked about over the last couple of years has been that, talking about just a retrace for Bitcoin. And, I think a lot of people think of me as just a fudster for saying that. And why would I think that the stock market isn't going to go breaking out into some roaring bull market? And we're gonna cover that today. And I get it. There's a lot of fear out there, a lot of panic out there as the stock market is doing what it's doing. Fortunately, crypto is not responding to any of that right now. But I still think it's going to be a challenge for Bitcoin to be able to perform any type of like major breakout into a new all-time high if the stock market doesn't give it. And so you're kind of potentially getting some signals there from the stock market of the things that we have been talking about here for years on whether or not it's going to end up getting it. And it's just going to be a retrace for Bitcoin. And still to this day, that my thoughts still remain the exact same on that. But as for today, chaos in the stock market, definitely concerning for stockholders, concerning for 401k holders, equity holders on if this thing is going to get going. And so let's see if we've already broken it yet for the Dow. No, not yet. So Dow still holds it. Let's see, YM1. YM1, did you take it? Not yet, but you're right there. That's one way to open it for YM1. But fortunately, crypto is just holding up well, so we'll take it. Let's see if there's anything crazy over here. It's a pretty amazing to see that big of a shuffle down there, but we still see the equities holding up okay. Let's see, you got Coinbase being the leader of the day with NVIDIA, ARK, and Roblox. The losers of the day are Ford, United Health, and Tesla. Otherwise, the majority of them are in the green this morning. Long duration yields, those ones that are called the bear steepeners when they're really ramping up, those are having negative days today, which is good for the equity markets, where it's those shorter duration bills that are actually having slightly up days. And I'd almost call those even. I wouldn't call those much. A 0.01 is nothing. 0.005 is nothing. These all have all been sitting right here at this 5.3 level. Let's take a look. A long time, it feels. Since June. Oh, it's only been 3 months. Boy, it sure feels like it's been a lot longer than that. Okay, but yeah, those are still all just kind of sitting right there. And then as for equities, there you go. Dow, rough. Crypto, green. We'll take it. So again, we're going to hear a loud beep. Let me see when it's going to happen. It's going to be in about 17 minutes from right now. We'll hear a loud ding. I have had interesting issues when it comes to cell phone service, electricity, and internet service over the last 2 days, and it seems to kind of occur at the same time every single day. So I've already recorded a video. It's exporting right now, and I'm going to actually upload it while we're doing markets in the morning to try to get that out in case the same thing happens again at the same time today. So keep your eyes peeled for when this live stream is over. For a video coming out, and we're gonna really dive into the stock market. We're gonna really dive into the DXY, and those are important things to look at. Even if you are a cryptocurrency person, if you don't have a bigger perspective view on just the macro world in general, I don't know what to tell you. You're listening to magic. Just pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on out there. So, all right, there we go. We got a green day in crypto. Again, I'm still going to just kind of keep my eyes on this stuff happening over here, support levels that have been holding over here for Bitcoin. I think we've kind of beaten that pretty hard, that, you break it, that's where the big problems are. Otherwise, we're just all just yelling at each other and arguing at each other while we're in these ranges, as we've seen these ranges continue to hold throughout history, and then they just continue to march up. The big problem comes when they break, and then, of course, we start talking about stuff like the 2018 Ethereum. But as of right now, hate it or love it, which, of course, I'm shaking my fist at clouds. We are actually where we're supposed to be prior to the halving, with price action for Bitcoin. And until a support level breaks, and there's not much to say about it. If the things we can just do is look to the stock market and see, hey, we're getting a little bit of warning signs out there, but it doesn't change anything. And well, even this, we're getting green action here in the crypto market while that's happening. The big problem, right? The big problem comes from the people who have the expectations of the new all-time high, and whether or not we're going to get that price action to go along with it with the stock market. That's the bigger problem. And so, we'll watch it as it all goes on, but, it's nothing new for most of you guys. All right, let's see here. You guys can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker or x.com. It's the only social media that I do use. Of course, you can check out bcbacker.com. It's a course of over 40 videos, over 11 hours of content. You guys can peek at that, get some extra content from me on bcbacker.com. Moving on to other assets, XRP still waddling along, just absolutely, still waiting for something. But we were right, though. This was the liquidation stopping point, and sure has just crawled along ever since then, doing absolutely nothing. But sure had the markings of that would be what a low would look like. Lots of, a lot of people had the idea that what we were doing was similar to when the SEC sell-off happened. And so 7 days later is when this should have gone plunging down to the downside. We're now at, have we hit 40? I think we're at 40 days now. It's been 40 days now, since 41 days, 30 days in September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31, except for February 28 and sometimes 29. August has 31 days. So we are at 41 days since that has happened, and still the waddle just continues raging on. As for the Dow still holds yesterday lows as we get the market opening. YM1, the one that is still actually holding those lows that took place back then in July, those are still holding there on YM1. DXY, yikes, what are you doing? Are you going to chill out? Gold struggling over there. Looks like it's poking beneath. Let's see, this is weekly, so it's poking beneath its 50-week moving average in here. Hard to know if there's a whole lot of correlation with just these weekly moving averages with all these violations happening in here, but it was notable to see that it was at it. Now it's through it. Again, lots of violations that do happen in here. As for the dominances, nothing changing on the dominances, still just humming along as expectations would be. BNB, I don't own any BNB, but this is the one constantly flooded, as it's going to be the doom of all of cryptocurrency when Binance completely collapses and doom strikes everywhere. Again, still just humming along, now at 214. Again, I don't own this. I'm not suggesting anybody to own it. The only reason we're bringing it up is the constant FUD campaign that is brought against this, and recognizing where it actually is. Should it be at the completion of accumulation, we would have seen the same thing we see every single time with crypto. Extreme fear at the lows, as we always do. Extreme greed at the tops. So far, it's still holding along. If this is your big worry on why crypto must collapse, and this is your thesis and your bear thesis, well, you have to fight through that. So we'll see how that goes. We have already gone through this with BLX, Brave New Coin, Bitcoin holding support levels, all as well. Big thing for today, of course, is going to be that stock market and how we're going to hold up in here. I think that's just a big story. Crypto, otherwise, it's just green. I don't see anything too worrying. The big thing for me now is I'm happy we got this. This is exactly what we talked about yesterday for a straight line up to happen in here. That's exactly what we got. Now we're going to wait for price action to kind of tell us a little bit of a story in here on if it's reversing or if we're going to come back down here for one more time. And that story, in my opinion, I think that story gets told just simply if we work back down to here, that tells us the story that this is where we're headed. But there you go. Otherwise, keeping an eye out here to see if it actually steps up one more time. One more step up gives us that actual thing. And I don't know the answer on that, but these are the two scenarios I'm watching for right now. Either prolonged consolidation in here to say it's going, but if we do shift back down, say get back down to 26.3, 26.4 or something like that, this will be my thought process before the actual reversal comes in, because that would be an ABC correction happening in here. And that's typically what we see at the lows, as we always talk about, after we have completed crashing structures, that you get an ABC. Even here, you actually have the ABC, and that marks the completion of it. So we're waiting for that answer to come in. The good news is phase one of that did present itself today. That would have been great. If this thing plunged to the downside, I'd been like, geez, what now? This was phase one. Now we get to, for me, this gives me more reassurance that those who are screaming for 12K or screaming for 20K or something, it's not happening now. It's not happening anytime soon. That there's going to be some stuff, some trickery, and this thing's still going to work its way back up before you ever even have your chance of screaming about it again. You know, guys will all sell your stuff here looking for 12K again, and then off and away it goes. All right. Stock market still holding. YM1 still holding. DXY going wild. But you got stocks holding up okay. Coinbase, Nvidia, and ARK are the leaders of the day, with GE. Losers of the day so far would be United Health, Ford, and Apple. So we're going to see if things get carried away today or big moves today. I expect volatility today, either to the up or the down. You don't typically have 2 big days of volatility like we've seen for the last 2 days, and then things just totally chill out for today. Be looking for either the big break of continuation or the big reversal likely happening today before the day is done. Those are my thoughts on it. But as for crypto, definitely exciting to see crypto holding up just fine during all of this. And now we're just waiting for the answer on one of these scenarios. And I think just if you got down to 26.3 or 26.4, I'd go ahead and I'd lean on. I'm going to be leaning on this one, but definitely. Based on our discussions yesterday, boom, 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 goodbye. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into financial news and see what's going on out there in the wild world. Stock futures rise after Dow's worst day since March. 10-year Treasury yields pull back from more than 15-year high. Landmark marijuana financing bill set to move forward in the Senate. Mortgage demand shrinks as interest rates hit the highest level in nearly 23 years. These mortgage rates are crazy. I will say that. Yeah. I remember, way back when I got an interest rate over 7%. Like when you're making a $1,500 mortgage payment, only $100 of it is going towards the principal. All right, China puts Evergrande's billionaire founder under police control. China growth target hangs in the balance while economists cut forecasts. Evergrande's rise, massive default and debt restructuring. Global stock sell-off pauses as the VIX signals calm and the market wraps up. Let me do this. Let's go look at... I had drawn something on the VIX. I don't know the VIX, okay? So we're not going to do anything. The VIX is just naturally volatile, right? It's just naturally ups and downs and stuff like this, right? Every move, we have moves like this all the time. They are normal in the volatility index to have big moves like that. But I had noticed that, that we had somewhat of a broken trend here. So we kind of like whipped this thing a couple of times. And yesterday's big chaos move got it to whip it again another time. It still didn't crack through there to get out of a range there for the volatility index. So I don't see anything crazy happening in here. And again, volatility index, in order for something big to emerge on here, let's go back. I mean, we're in like catastrophic situations when we have big stuff like this, right? This is peak great financial crisis collapsing price action, right? And this is deep into it. Like this is September and October of 2008. That's probably this one right here, right? Yep. October of 2008. So it's when things are already just like absolutely catastrophic. And then, when we see things like C19 happening in here, when we're seeing these types of moves, that's what you have, March of 2020. So otherwise, you got a lot of people trying to read volatility. So anyway, this is a range that's kind of been stuck in here for a minute. We'll see if that ends up being anything or not. Yeah. So there you go. Volatility index. Global stock sell-off pauses as VIX signals calm. The opposite of what we're saying. We're saying, hey, no, it usually continues. There's usually more volatility, either reversal or continuation, not calm. Department of Justice steps up probe of Credit Suisse and UBS over sanctions breaches. UBS seeks to wipe out $1.8 billion fine at top French court. Okay. U.S. government shutdowns, economic risks grow the longer it lasts. Auto workers aren't striking only for higher wages. They want their pensions back. The IPO optimism grows, fueling hope for global recovery. That's got to be paid for. The IPO market is struggling. All right, crypto news. U.S. government messed up my 250,000 Bitcoin price prediction, says Tim Draper. Nah, man, it was the 4.236 extension that messed it up, bro. All right, Binance fully exit Russia with sale to COMEX. Will Bitcoin price hold 26K ahead of monthly $3 billion Bitcoin options expiry? U.S. government messed up my $250,000 price prediction, according to Tim Draper. Bitcoin exchange volume tracks 5-year lows as Fed inspires Bitcoin hodling. Bitcoiner who tried to trade his way to Alaska shares his humbling experience. Binance sells Russian unit. Jeez. The dog just came charging in here. Binance sells Russian unit to day-old COMEX, exits the country. Bitcoin's implied volatility gauge tops Ether for record 20 straight days. BitGet shapes the crypto future with young talent. Bitcoin Ether prices stay flat as traders eye return of U.S. equities correlation. There you go. All right. There you go. Getting a little bit of pullback happening there in Bitcoin. We'll see if we actually get all the way back down. If we do, then I think that the story is written in there. But that was phase one. We needed B, right? A, B, C, for B. Now waiting for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as we had on the A wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll see if that ends up being the case. Otherwise, let's shift back over to, we are on Dow on here. Dow is green. So Dow is green. We'll see if that holds. YM1 still holding. DXY surging and rampaging. Saying can't stop, won't stop. Big move. So, all right, I have recorded a 32-minute video. It is exporting right now. How many minutes until it beeps? 5 minutes until it beeps really loud and scares the daylights out of all of us. And then I'll start uploading that here live during the live stream to get that up and running. As you guys, I've had some issues here with my computer and electricity and cell phone service and internet service here for the last 2 days. But I've gone ahead and recorded that to get it up and running really quickly in case it happens at the same time that it's happened every day this week so far. All right. As for gold 1886, silver 2248, big move down in silver. Let me go add some. As for dominances, steady. BNB, you're still holding. Everybody's scared of this one as if it's going to be the black swan to hit the cryptocurrency market, but everybody's predicting the black swan, which means you're wrong. It's always going to be in the place you don't look, right? That's why FTX was such a surprise. Nobody expected it. All right, there we go. Otherwise, we actually have a green week in the crypto market, as hard as that may sound to believe. The cryptocurrency market is green this week. All right, let's go ahead and hop into the chat. There's 1,900 people in here, guys. If you could, please hit the like button. It is the #1 way to support the channel. I always appreciate that as you support. Super chats are great. All that stuff is great, and I appreciate that support. But as always, those likes are number one. So here we go. Let's hit the frog. Halfway through the week, guys, we'll hop into the chat and we'll get on with our day.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Happy Wednesday. All right, let's go. Oscar Hernandez, right out the gates, #1, my man, like every single day. Thank you, sir, with the frog. Hey, BCB, watching you since you were on To the Lifeboats. Love the conspiracy talk. Any chance you'll post on Rumble? Hit the like, everyone. I don't know. I haven't gone through the effort of like putting myself on other platforms yet. I haven't even uploaded a video to x.com yet. We'll see. Yeah, those were the days. That's back when I maybe had like 5,000 or 10,000 subscribers, and Sam had invited me on. And I'm still friendly with Sam to this day after all these years. I'll never forget when he brought me on his show. And I went on his show twice. So yeah, those were cool times. One of those times was actually when BC Barker was sick, and I had to stay home with him as my family had to go out of town. But that was kind of like back in that time. That was back in 2020. Irish Red Crypto. Hey man, what do you think is realistic for silver long term? $100 is where it should be right now when measured versus stocks and etc. Yeah, I mean it's definitely underpriced in relation to like even when you look at it from the gold to silver ratio. I don't know. My long term thoughts are definitely over 100 long term. Problem is a lot of people get into it thinking it's going to happen overnight. And it just doesn't. It's one of the slowest moving things that there is. So, I always tell people, if you're going to buy this stuff, you better not be like, don't FOMO into silver. Don't FOMO into gold. You're going to be disappointed because I see people in here say, hey, I'm going to go sell it all. I'm going to go buy XRP now. Like, you just bought it 6 months ago, man. What were you thinking? Like, this is like end of the world doomer metal, right? Hold on. I'll hold mine and I'll hold it through crashes. I'll hold it through everything. It's a different type of investment for me when it comes to gold and silver. And I know a lot of people try to treat Bitcoin in that same manner. I don't treat Bitcoin in that same manner as silver and gold. I think they're their own category. And gold maybe more so. I think gold is like the Bitcoin and silver is kind of like the altcoin. So I think the volatility swings will be higher. But I would definitely imagine one day, my thoughts are one day, multi-$100 silver prices. Oscar Hernandez, thank you, sir, with the super chat, super sticker. And then Ryan Chase, man, thank you very much. He says, thank you, BCB, for being you. Much love, sir. Ryan, thank you, sir. Oscar says, best way to support the channel is to click the like button for the goat. Thank you. Thank you, Oscar. And then he gifts a BCB membership, my man. Kevin Smith has an urgent transmission to the President of the United States of Dudes. Transmission start. It is Wednesday. Transmission end. Very clever, Kevin. Thank you. Red Baron, thank you very much. First time super chatter. Missed it on that first one. Red Baron, next resistance for DXY since it's broken from 106. I'm not sure on DXY, man.
I'm not going to try to guess. Not right now. Yeah, I think for stocks, people like, I mean, we all know where retracements are and stuff like that. So you can look at all the retracements and and take your stabs on guessing on retracement levels, right? This historically is a trouble area though. Like I would think that hopefully by the end of the week, like Fantasyland end of the week, there's just some huge knockback and it closes the week below it. That would be like ideal, keep the dream alive type price action. Hold on one second. I'm going to close this door. Okay. LKNZ. I love you, BCB. Is it relevant to draw fibs on the DXY from 89.5 to 114.8, which represents retracements between 105 to 109 for rejection? So the problem with DXY, so like with any type of tool that you're going to use, right? You want to find confluences of past behavior responding to that particular indicator or tool that you're using. So if we're going to try to like force Fibonacci's, which I'm guilty of trying to force them myself on here, I'm trying to find places where it actually has worked, right? So like right here, do we get it to work here? Almost, not quite, but it gets close, right? It almost gets to a 0.5. Do we get it to work in here? No. Like, do we have any other places where we can be like, hey, this thing definitely responds to fibs? I don't know. I think it's a lot harder. I mean, maybe, hey, let's hope for that. I mean, there's a little something there, but I don't know. Are we just looking for what we want to look for, right? I mean, we see response there. We see response here. We see it here. We see this breakthrough, right? Now we're kind of back at, hey, that was it. You guys heard it. The video is done. But I'm not so sure that we have a lot of indicators in particular for the DXY that have a tendency to reject. So this one's a little bit more difficult because there's no real consistent responses. And that's the whole point of using indicators in the first place, is to see, does this asset have a historical response rate to what I'm trying to do here? If so, how often does it respond? Well, it responds 4 out of 6 times. So, okay, 2 out of 3. And then what was the rule for where it went to and where it wasn't working anymore? And then that's kind of like a risk management, right? Where you're like, it's not working. I don't think we really have a whole lot in regards to the fibs on here to say there's a consistent response by the DXY to Fibonacci retracement levels. And if it exceeds this particular level, it means it's troublemaking. I think it's more like the real thing I've noticed on here has just been if we exceed certain levels, it's been kind of like yuck. In the last almost 40 years, that level has been 106, where we tend to see some yucky behavior in the stock market. So that's kind of, I don't know. I think that's kind of more of the thing right now than looking for any particular. I'm not sure which one you're using. Let me see. What are you saying? From 89.5 to 114.8. Is that here? In our range. 105 to 109. 105 to 109, I guess, is what you're saying. I mean, if you're going to treat this whole area as a range, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I would have any level of conviction on saying that or being able to draw. I mean, if you can find past circumstances where you can do something like that and it works out, then maybe, but I wouldn't be familiar with that. So I'm not sure. Moon Barrel, thank you. That's very generous. Not being political. Hold on, let me see. All right, not being political, but do you think the current administration not wanting a collapse to happen under leadership plays a factor? With election year approaching, I would think they would do everything in their power to maintain the market. So I've debated that a lot, and then I came to I'm not political, right? So I debated that for a while, but I actually just think it doesn't matter who's in power. Somebody's going to be caught holding the hot potato. Somebody is. And our government's pretty good at making it seem that like neither one of the parties are to blame when it does happen. When this crash happened, nobody blamed the government. Nobody blamed the government for that, right? Instead, the government got to come in and be the hero to save the day, right? And they're really good at doing that. And so I don't think it really matters who's going to be in power. And you got to remember, this also was during an election year that this actually ended up happening. So sometimes a crisis provides an opportunity to be the hero. So I'm not so sure that they actually have any control on that, but they can control the narrative and the way that they play it. If stock markets rise, they can take credit for it. If a crash happens, well, it's definitely not their fault, but they can play the hero to come in and save the day. So I don't think it really matters who's in control. But thank you, Moon Barrel. Big Shroom says, thanks for being my morning routine, BCB. Stay awesome, possum. Thank you very much. Big Shroom. Michael Like says, hey, BCB, I love the videos. Take my money. By the way, you should use Streamlabs to avoid YouTube 30% tax. Many streamers do this also. When did you sell BCH? I'm a bag holder. Thanks again. I rotated some of my BCH into XRP when it seemed apparent we were going to be down here for a while. I still have some, but nowhere near the amount that I used to have. But yeah, I mean, I have been fortunate enough to ride up some of this action that's happening in here. How is BCH today? Up 8%. It's pretty funny. it's the strongest looking chart in crypto. And so much trash talk on that one for so long. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look into that. I guess what do? You set up a PayPal and you do that? Yeah, it is true. YouTube takes 30% of everything. Thank you, Michael. Luke Williams says, Froggy style, great vibes for the soul, BCB. Yeah, halfway through. We don't do the hump day thing, right? But still, hump day is cool, like the camel hump day. But the frog's cooler. Thank you, Luke. Cash me outside, get to the BCB membership. Cash me, my man. Thank you. XP Market, BCB, your content is pure gold. Thank you for being the golden ratio in crypto analysis. You're the lifeline we need in this bear market. Well, thank you, XP Market. I've asked you to shill your stuff. Shill it. I guess maybe I missed it in the chat that day. Right? What are you up to, man? I know you've been building. Jalig, member for my months. Hey, BCB. Hey, BCB, when you say Bitcoin is only going into retracement, do you think it will never make an all-time high ever again, or will it just take a long time? Well, I would hope it would happen again. I'm going to bet on it that it will, but either way, it would take a very long time. It would require, or it's going to have to break away from the stock market. It's going to have to do something it's never done before. XP Market, what stuff? XP Market is the stuff. Okay. Check out XP Market. It's the stuff. XXX says, what's your look on emerging markets if the S&P plunges? And also, what's your view on gold mine stocks? I'm not sure on emerging markets. It would require so much research to look into all the emerging markets. I'm not sure. I'm not rehearsed in those. As for gold mine stocks, I'm never the type of person to invest in gold mine stocks, silver mine stocks, metal mine stocks, Bitcoin mining stocks. I don't invest in miners. I know that every time I see them, they are just crumbling style stocks. It seems that the business model of these things is to, just like you see a lot with like the S coins in the cryptocurrency market, they pay influencers to pump them and promote them. Gold mine stocks do the exact same thing with metal content creators over there on YouTube. It's so frustrating because I'll find channels that I really enjoy watching their content on gold and silver and coins and everything like that. And then they'll have a video where they're shilling a gold mine stock for 20 minutes. And I'm just like, gosh, man. So I don't invest in any of those, and I don't even look at them because I have a negative perception of them, which isn't fair because I'm extremely biased. So I'd ask somebody who is more rehearsed in them. I have a negative perception of them. Hey, BCB, do you think ETH may see $650 again if Bitcoin goes down? If it goes to 650, man, there's probably big problems for Ethereum. I don't know why 650 would be the low. Any thoughts on if Tesla could go into an all-time high? I'm uncertain, man. I think we need to see some resolution to the stock market here, which I think we're even getting another new low today. No, not yet. How about over here? Almost. It's trying. All right, so I've got a 32-minute video on this thing coming out today, and talking a lot about retraces, right? Talking a lot about everybody's favorite, the Wall Street cheat sheet, complacency retraces, all that good stuff. And I'd say on Bitcoin, I think we're getting what we were just talking about, which is okay. This would just mean that was the completion of B wave. ABC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for A. A, B, C for B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for C. And then let her loose. Miles Franklin. I don't know what Miles Franklin is. I'm going to sound like a dingus. There's probably 100 people saying, you don't know. Auden Kim says, Ethereum to 400. You guys are cheering for literal devastation of the cryptocurrency market. Why are you even involved? Sorry, those were hard swallows. Oh no, I forgot to start uploading. Hold on. Sorry guys. I need to start uploading this YouTube video. It's long, so it could take a while to upload. There we go. We are in the uploading phase. Thoughts on Dow Jones working on wave 4? So where are you drawing waves 1s and 2s? No, I think the big concern now is if we start setting these new lows, right? That's been the big talk. If we go set these new lows and we then start deviating away from this type of price behavior. And if you start setting these new lows here in the stock market, was that the completion? Was that it? Does Great Depression begin from right here? And I know that sounds sick and twisted to say it like that. But like, let's go here. And I don't want to give away too much because I did a lot of stuff in the YouTube video. Are we essentially in something like that right there, right? Or something bigger? That, we've already had the peak. We've already A, B, C'd, right? A, B, C'd. Just we had an extremely high C leg come in here that even exceeded all retracement levels. And then now starting to work on that. And that's going to create the complications of where we're at currently right now if we don't maintain higher lows, which it's looking like we're starting to dip right now. Looking over here, have you done it yet? YM1. All right, the thing is, crypto's holding up okay. But if you're not on alert, if you're a 401k holder, if you're like massively exposed to the long side of equities, and you're not even on the first little bit of alert, and you're just like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to keep on contributing every month because it has worked for everybody prior to me, and it's worked for the last 15 years, and I'm just totally complacent in it. To just remember how high remember when everybody's chasing for $100,000 on Bitcoin, but we're like 10% away from like 4.236. It's the same thing with the Dow. The Dow's 16% away from a 4.236 extension. And I know for a fact not many people are playing defense because I've talked to my own family. I'm just like, hey, what are you gonna do here? I'm like, I've already switched the kids. The kids already swapped 2/3 money markets. We only got 1/3 exposed to equities. And I'm over here buying treasuries. What are you guys doing? Like, I'm just contributing like I always do. Like, oh, God. So, I don't know. I can't get anyone to hear me out. Stocks, right? Fortunately for crypto, we got some hard rules, right? We got some hard lines in the sand when it comes to like Bitcoin, right? And it comes to those support levels. If you take that out, then you now mix three things. You mix one, that you have a breaking out DXY. Two, you have a breaking down stock market. And then three, Bitcoin will have gone on and broken through a support level, which has never happened in a recovery. And then it becomes this whole thing of what we've talked about since 2021 is Bitcoin going to $3,000. I'm sorry if you are a 12K bull and you think the Federal Reserve is going to come in and save your day. You are way too far for you to get your 12K. Your 12K should have come right here. If we start breaking support levels, it is then deviated from all past recoveries for Bitcoin. And if 2020 is your example, you were not here in 2020. Sorry, you weren't. You're some noob who came in with laser eyes and diamond hands and bought the top, and you got some dude on YouTube you're watching who's telling you that you can do that. You can't. Sorry. Give me some Tony Shastries. Get me some cayenne pepper. It's spicy up in here. All right, I'm done. I'm done. There you go. Bitcoin. There we go. So there we go. I think we have set it in. I think that's what we have going on here. So that was the completion of the B wave. And likely still some more trending to give you kind of an example of what we just saw happen right in here. Your moment of price action that we just saw this morning would have been something like that, right? And so I'm going to guess we'll see those 25 sevens, 25 eights, and then off and away we go. Give a little bit of chaos to the stock market, and we'll see how it goes. There you go. It still holds over there for the stock market. We'll see. We'll see. All right, what are we at? 53 minutes. Okay, how's my video? Video is uploading. Okay. Sorry. I love you guys so much. I don't mean to be spicy. I just try to say. I try to be very real, and I smell. There's so much BS out there. So much BS for clicks. Drives me insane. All right. Kale says, I have a lot of Tesla. My average price is $96. I've been selling out between $240 and $290 and rotating an extra P. I figure the NASDAQ goes up, so might Tesla. I'm not sure if I should wait for a new all-time high or rotate now. I don't have the answer for you. I don't own any Tesla. But obviously with Tesla, it's a tough one with Tesla. Let's see, where can we point some examples on this? Like I smell familiarity of like Bitcoin in here. But the problem is, like, if the whole market collapses, is Tesla going to collapse with it? Probably. But man, that's such a strong looking reversal. Let's go like here. I remember this in Bitcoin in 2017. This correction structure. Let's go to 8 hour. Right there. Dips. I'd say like the warning signs on Tesla are if you get down but like below 200. Otherwise, like ranging in here to attempt to get through that range peak would make some logical sense. Below 200 is where it would be kind of concerning. But this is like a normal reversal structure in here, right? What do you call it? Adam and Eve, right? I remember this one very clear. I remember watching this too live and watching it on the 1 minute chart, watching this right here, watching the second it hit $3,000. It's like in the middle of the night, right? Let's see. It was like, yeah, this is like late at night when this is happening. We go down and hit here. And then, man, I miss these days. We haven't had any days like this in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Just you don't see this anymore of how cool it was when they would happen, when the reversals would show up. They would always show up in 2017 with these just wham reversals that would end up happening, which is, like what you got over there on Tesla. So I would say, the chart looks okay. The concern is macro, right? And the rest of the market. I would say that's the concern out there. But there you go. They're kind of a correction example to maybe go back and reference on and kind of study and understand. Right. So there you go. Mr. Nobody, thank you very much. And thank you, Kale. Mr. Nobody says, hey, good morning, BCB. Thank you for all you do. What do you think about inverse ETFs like SQQQQ, which is the inverse NASDAQ, and alt metals like rhodium during a depression? And well, I don't study a whole lot of precious metals or alternative metals outside of gold and silver. Those are really just my thing. And I do platinum a little bit, but platinum's kind of its own thing. It's kind of got its own chart going on. So these are the challenges with these types of things, is just how much gets eaten away at it. Even during big crashes in the market, essentially this is kind of just like having to get your timing down right too, or else you're going to get eaten away in fees. So notice the difference here on this inverse. Like I'll flip this. Notice how they don't look the same, right? How this is spread so much further. Of course, I have this flipped. This should look like this, but I wanted to give you the example. If you notice how like this area right here, December of 2021, that's right over here, right? December of 2021. But due to fees and time, it's just been eaten away and eroded. So if you don't have your timing down right, you're going to get hurt by it pretty quick. So you got to really be able to nail that timing. And notice in here, even just you get eaten away in fees so fast. This has not exceeded this, whereas this has exceeded that. So you got to have your timing right, is really what it comes down to. It's kind of an in and out thing. And I definitely do not view it as like an investment in any way. It's definitely a get in, get out, move on with lifestyle thing. And your timing has to be dang good. So like, let's look at C19. Like that's the whole C19 crash right there. Whereas like, you know, I guess C19 wasn't as big of a blip on the radar for the NASDAQ. It really wasn't. That's C19 right there. Yeah, so I've battled that myself, right? On, you know, thinking like if we have the Great Depression coming, like what I need specific, very clear entries and timing to be able to do something about that if I wanted to play the short side. And of course, looking at those inverse ETFs. But again, your timing has to be right because of erosion. And then the other thing is looking at like options puts, right? Shorting with options expirations, contracts. But they would need to be very clear. And I just don't think it's like super clear yet. I mean, like it could be like this could be it for the Dow right here. Just comes up short, but definitely does. And again, watch today's video. Do yourself a favor, everybody. Watch today's video. Don't be blindly following whatever other people are saying. I try to present data. Look at the data yourself, and make your own decisions. With whatever you want. But at least listen to the data. It doesn't matter what my thoughts are, what my opinions are. Who gives a crap? But look at the data. But Mr. Nobody, yeah, that's the only problem is the erosion. So you have to time them properly. Ben Heller says, hey, baby. For 401k holders, is a stable income fund mainly invested in bonds and treasuries a good hedge for the Great Depression? You'd have to look at the bonds. I don't know. I don't know about the bonds. If you're talking about treasury bonds, you would hope so. Right? So, like, imagine this, right? Here's the challenge, right? Imagine this is as high as the stock market's going to go. If it's only going to go to 39,000, in the best case scenario that it does it, right? If this isn't the retrace in Doomtown from here. This was the return to normal. This was the, what was it, right? TXMC had mentioned this too. We were having a discussion yesterday, and it was like, remember when everybody was, not everybody, but it was Balaji, Bitcoin to $1 million in 90 days. The banking crisis was happening. The Fed was stepping in to help. The balance sheet raised. Was that the return to normal? Everybody, boom, we're returning to normal because of that, right? So keeping eyes out for return to normal retraces, complacency, and then rolling over and crumbling for stock market. But even if it does, like let's pretend it does. Like you got the remainder of this. You got 16% remaining in this. You're essentially going to have to either like time the market, but looking pretty crummy, or even really crummy, or you can lock in U.S. Treasury bills and bonds and notes, right? Like literally nothing is under 4%. What's the worst one? The worst one is the 10-year Treasury at 4.54% for 10 years, a 5-year for 4.62, a 30-year for 4. Nobody's buying 30 years. Come on. A 3-year, 4.84%, 20-year, 4.85, a 2-year for 5.08. That's pretty alluring. 1 month is 5.29, 2 month, 3 month. But the 1 year, right? The 1 year pays the most. Lock your money up for 1 year, 5.48%. That's pretty hard to pass up. How many people are like buying digital assets to stake them for 3.5%? Because that's awesome. Just a couple of years ago, right? I think USDC right now pays 4%, right? There's savings accounts out there, bank savings accounts that will pay you 4 1/3, 4.5%, and you have treasuries out here pay almost 5.5%. So there's a big fight out there for where the yield is with low risk. And that's a challenge right now for this market. Okay, we'll move on. But I don't know about bonds. I'm not a big bond knowledge person, like corporate bonds and all that stuff. I don't know. I don't know. You'd have to see about those depending on those risks. I don't know what bonds, right? So when it comes to treasuries, if you guys don't know, I always have the word bonds here, but it doesn't actually mean, it's not actually bonds. I should relabel this to treasuries. Anything that's below a year is considered a bill. Then like your 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, those are notes. And then bonds are like 10 and up. So I'm not sure if you're referring to actual treasury bonds. So, all right, there we go. There you go. Crypto saying, got it. Red. Unfortunately, we talked about all of this, so now we just kind of sit back and let this thing kind of show itself for a minute. But I'm glad we talked about it right at the very, very beginning. So if you missed today's stream, check it out. Taylor. Yeah, Taylor, have you been watching today? That's what we expected. But, all right. So there we go. We've crossed an hour and 6 minutes. It says my video is ready to go live. So what I'm going to do is make the title, the thumbnail, and I will hopefully have this video up in approximately 5 minutos. So, Jory says, we will see Great Depression, 1, 2, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Great Financial Crisis crash. I don't think we're going to see Great Financial Crash. I think it's going to be something totally different. So, all right, guys. That's it for this one. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It looks like stock market's still kind of sitting steady right where it was as it closed out yesterday. Nothing too crazy has happened. Bitcoin, we got the thing we were looking for. Shoot back straight up as our discussions in here, and then boom, right back down as we discussed during the stream. So likely a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 still remains in here, similar to this, without new lows. And then off and away this thing can finally go, as we've seen. So probably still a little bit of patience over here, but we'll check in on it as time goes. All eyes otherwise over in the stock market, and keep your eyes out for a video being released hopefully in about 5 to 10 minutes right now. It's a 32-minute video. If you're wanting to get a clear idea on the stock market and the really big picture and crypto's ties to it, definitely watch today's video. Kind of calm your nerves, or at least get a better picture. But all right, that's going to be it for this one, guys. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you're looking for something to do, of course, check out bcbacker.com, which is the website I put together with over 40 videos and 11 hours of content. Deep diving into the cryptocurrency market, teaching you how to set up your own charts and your own indicators in TradingView and CoinTrader Pro, historical behavior, all kinds of tips and tricks and stuff that I've learned throughout the years. But otherwise, thank you for watching. If you could, what's my thing? I do this every time. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back.
It is Wednesday, my
Have a good one.